Hey fellas, how you doing? I wanted to answer a question that I got from a student. I was going to say a guy, same thing, a student that I worked with over Skype, with the Skype session. He asked me a really interesting question, and he asked me, would social anxiety ever go away? Would the feelings ever go away? You know, seriously, would I ever get rid of this? And I really felt that when he said that, because I experienced that for many years myself. I used to ask myself, will this horrible, dreadful feeling ever go away, of feeling uncomfortable around people and just feeling embarrassed and judged and nervous, and in my head I'm worried about making mistakes or not being able to continue a conversation or being judged, or just that feeling that came up for me. And of course the answer is yes. I said the same thing to the gentleman I was working with over Skype, and I think people know this, I knew it, but this is what the ego mind does, this is what our rational fears do. And I played this trick, I call it trick, on myself for many years. I convinced myself that there was nothing I could do. It was just, I was born with it, it was the way I was shy, I was always shy, and there wasn't really much I could do. I could just accept it and get on with life and just hope to meet a girlfriend, hope to do a job, make a living, and continue as I was. And it was only really going through, I'm going to be really straight with you guys, really bad depression and having suicidal thoughts and really questioning, is it worth me to continue existing? And that wasn't an easy thing to think, because for me to even contemplate suicide, in my own view of myself and what it is to be a man and all the other stuff, that felt like being really weak. That made me angry, that made the depression come on stronger. Of course I didn't take my own life, thank God. But I decided, and this was kind of simultaneous at the same time I was really struggling with women. I thought, I'm going to give it one last shot, or really give it the best shot, because before I was just sort of playing at trying to get over my social anxiety, but not really doing it. And it was the hardest thing I've ever done. But the hardest things I've ever done are always the most rewarding. And this is why, I think I spoke about it in my other video, this is why I say it's so important to practice. I'm going to keep saying it because it keeps coming, and I feel it when I say it. It's going to help you guys, and it helps me to remember it. When we practice, we reconfirm the truth. We reconfirm it. That's why people say, do what you love. Because when you keep doing what you love, you keep connecting to that feeling, which is love or enjoyment. You confirm. Do you understand what I mean? So through practice, lots of other things come out that you learn. You grow through practice. So the word that keeps coming, I said the same thing to this gentleman, you have to practice. And it's not usually what you want to hear when you've got social anxiety, because the last thing you want to do is put yourself in a situation where you feel uncomfortable or awkward. Logically you would say, yeah, why would I do it? If I was scared of jumping out of a plane, why would I go and jump out of a plane? But that's the only thing to do to overcome a fear. And I've had to recognise that myself as a teacher and as a student, and a continuing student and teacher of life. And I'm fascinated with the area of social confidence. You can imagine, being that I was shy for the best part of most of my life, now becoming happy in my identity and confident. I've got so much knowledge, and that's why I'm putting out, I'm just going a bit mad with the YouTube videos. I'm not following the general rule once a week. I'm just going to put videos out every day until I feel I'll just follow my feeling. So I really want to help as many people as I can with social anxiety, but you know, I can only help you as much as telling you this is what I learned in my experience, and this is what I teach and pass on to people that I work with. And the answer, as I said, is yes, but you have to put the work in. Unfortunately, and I've done this myself, please, I'm not being hard on you. Sympathy, complaining about it, being a victim, it doesn't get rid of it. And it's okay if you do all those things as well, because I did all those things, and it's part of being human. But there comes a point, hopefully it's today after watching this video, where sympathy doesn't help you, complaining doesn't help you, feeling that you've been mistreated by life doesn't help you, feeling that there's something wrong with you. But guess what? I'm going to contradict myself to stress the truth. It does help you, because only going through this will make you recognise that's not going to help me. So that's a teaching. So even what works doesn't work if it gets us onto the right path. So I got to a stage where I realised this, I knew it, and I was scared to realise it. And I'll tell you why I was scared to realise it, because I knew if I was to accept and admit the truth, I would have to face it, and it wasn't comfortable, and it's not supposed to be comfortable. That's another thing that a lot of people with social anxiety or shyness hope for. They want a comfortable method, but there isn't one. Because I've searched high and low, I've been all over the internet, and I've been practicing for over 10 years in overcoming shyness. And I'll say only in the last 2 years I really fully overcome it, because it took me a long time. I don't know who's watching this video, and I don't know what stage you're at, but I had it severely. I was really bad, really anxious. I couldn't relax. I couldn't speak to people. It was embarrassing. I was embarrassed of my identity. And, you know, I think, and I said this to the guy I was mentoring, it's a blessing. And I know it doesn't feel like that when you have it. And I wouldn't have liked it if someone said that to me when I was really struggling with it about 5 years ago. But I promise you, it's a blessing. I think it's a blessing. I think it's a blessing from God. It's been given to you for a reason. You've been given this because it's going to help you. You can overcome it. So that's why everyone isn't blessed with it. But it's not a blessing if you don't face it. And it sounds mad to say this, and it may not make sense to lots of people, but I'm sure you understand. It's a part of you that you're denying. You're denying a part of you because you're embarrassed of a part of yourself. You don't feel you're good enough. You're ashamed, and you're convinced yourself, you've made it indefinite that you're not good enough, and it's not true. It's not true, because the part that is shy, anxious, that's the true self. But the self that tries to cover that and hide and do all the things that are not good for you, that's the false self. So it's really about dissolving the false self and at the same time growing the new self. So you have to go through these situations of falling apart socially. I've done it so many times. I told the guy I've fallen apart in public talks a few times. You know, I've got nervous so many times with people, and it's not a crime. We all get nervous sometimes. We had a bad day, a stressful day, but obviously it's more apparent with social anxiety. But the more you practice, the more confidence you get. You get what I call reference experience, muscle memory, emotional memory, if that makes sense. So you get used to feeling these emotions, and we all feel anxiety, we all feel feelings when we communicate with people, but most of the time if you're yourself, you're going to feel good feelings. And if bad feelings come up in you, it's not a crime, you're not a bad person. The other person's feeling feelings too. We're humans, we have biology, we're always curious to get to know one another. It takes time for some people to open up. Some people are more extroverted, some people really trust themselves, some people need more time. So you have to take all these things in consideration. And when I started to think like this, I thought, well, I don't feel like so much like a victim. I don't feel like I'm the only person in the whole world who has this shyness or anxiety. And I knew I could overcome it. And I knew it wouldn't be easy. And now I've overcome it, I look back and I say, it was just how it was meant to be. You know, I wouldn't change it. There was no quick fix, and there wasn't meant to be a quick fix. Sorry, my neck started actually ate me. There wasn't meant to be a quick fix. And I think the truth is always uncomfortable, but the truth is the truth, and the truth is what sets people free, as the saying says, and the truth works. But if you try and go around the truth, and if you try and deny the truth, and if you try and rationalize that I can't go and face it, it's too difficult, I'm going to look for another method. And that's what I find with a lot of people that I worked with initially. And I'm not blowing my own trumpet as a teacher, but I am very good because I had this anxiety. And lots of people have sought counselling or hypnotherapy. And I've spoken to so many people and they've said it didn't do anything. They've been working with a hypnotherapist for 2 years and it's done nothing. They've still got social anxiety. And that's because some of the practitioners or the teachings are not getting you to actually go straight to the fear. And the fear is talking to people. So there's no better method. You know, you don't need to hypnotize yourself to go and speak to people. And you can't, if hypnotherapy works for social anxiety, that means you could just hypnotize someone and make them confident their whole life. And that's not the truth. It hasn't been true in science. And that certainly wouldn't work on me. It may be good to hypnotize you into certain states to get you to feel a good state and maybe memorize that state and try and, I don't know, kind of embody that state, but it's got to be a natural state. You can't fucking hypnotize yourself to be yourself around people. That's not natural and that's not honest, not in my understanding anyway. So I'm not saying that, not fully writing off hypnotherapy, but that wouldn't work on me. And I've mentored hundreds of people successfully and got them over their anxiety, and it's been through the raw practice. The raw practice is to go and speak to people and go and suffer the feelings, and actually through suffering the feelings, it's like my mentor said, it's true, you change your state within the state, you don't change it without it. So you can't be at home and anxious and afraid to speak to people and then hypnotize yourself and then feel confident and go and meet them and it's fine. It doesn't work like that, and people know this, we know this. But people will probably think it's too simple, that's too straight, that's too raw. No, it works. So that's what I did. I put myself in situations that terrified me, horrified me, embarrassed me, tore me to pieces, but I always came out and I grew. And I made loads of mistakes. But the mistakes weren't mistakes, because after you grow from those experiences and you realise, well, was it really a mistake? It feels a mistake in the moment when you get embarrassed with someone, or when you go and do a public talk and you're nervous, or when you go on a date with a girl. When you come out of the situation and you assess it a week or a month later, you say, I can't believe it, that mistake, or that perceived mistake, intellectually, that's made me more confident. I've gone on another date and I feel better this time. So can you sort of hear how I did it? Now, within what I teach, the practical element, I've said it before, what I teach on a 6 weeks program, you have to work on your integrity. And you would say, well, what has integrity got to do with social awkwardness? Everything. Because if your integrity's out, if you're doing things in your life that are dishonest and you're deceiving yourself, you're going to carry that shame into your social interactions. People don't know about it, they're not going to guess it, but you feel it. So you start realising that the social anxiety is in you, it's not in other people. So you've actually got to get more comfortable with you, because we think, and I didn't even know I was going to say this usually happens when I'm spontaneous, we think that the person has made us awkward, when in reality we made ourselves awkward. Because when we have social anxiety, we're not comfortable with ourselves, we're not comfortable as it is now, as we're with ourselves now. When there's no one else around us, then we go and meet that person, we're carrying discomfort, so we have to exercise discomfort out. And of course it is a placebo to go and speak to people, because it's going to bring feelings up, but it's meant to bring feelings up so you can work on those feelings and then dissolve or moderate those feelings and start converting those feelings. So I said to guys all the time, what do you think when I went out in the streets of London, I didn't have some anxieties or nervousness? I'm a human being, but I got used to managing those feelings and then converting them, and then obviously you feel really great. So don't try and go in situations expecting not to feel a bit nervous, because you're going to feel nervous. You're probably going to find that most people feel nervous if they go into new social situations, regardless of whether they've got social anxiety. Obviously when you have social anxiety, everything is more extreme because you've got it really bad. So for example, someone who is negative once in a while, that's very human, we all get days where we feel negative. Someone who is negative all the time, maybe has got a mental illness, or they've got some kind of personality deficiency, that's extreme, that needs to be changed, otherwise obviously nothing will change. So it is in the practice, and I've said it before, and it's what I teach throughout almost 5 years of teaching. It's two practices. One is the practical element of speaking to people and being a sociable person and embracing that feeling with everyone until it goes and you get better with it and you feel really confident. And the second one, and it's tied in with the first, is to get your integrity right. So if you're watching pornography, that's going to make you feel ashamed. It made me feel dirty when I watched that, or at least reduce it. Drugs or alcohol, prostitutes, anything that is anything that makes you feel insecure after, that's usually a sign it's not good for you. But so there's a bit of a contradiction here, but this excites me to tell you this. When you do what makes you afraid and what makes you feel ashamed, something that's got integrity, and of course it's not illegal, it's not bad to go and speak to human beings, when you do that and you face that, no matter what happens, even if you got embarrassed or you made a mistake, when you come out after and you process that, you may feel bad for a while, you're going to feel good about yourself, even if it's just a little bit, a tiny bit, and you build on that, and then you start feeling really good about yourself. You could even go one further. You could say, what are the things I can do before I go and meet people that are going to make me feel better about myself? There's 1,001 things that you can do to feel better, but there's only one practice to overcome social anxiety, and that is to socialise with people. That is the essence, that is the answer that I searched high and low for. I always knew it, but because I was afraid, I wanted to believe there was a method. That is why I made my 30-day anxiety program. It is for people with social anxiety, it is people that are shy, and it is a direct, practical method. Exactly what I've said in this video. I didn't even realise that now until I've re-realised it, that in that program it's given you the tools to go up and say hello to women on the street. Women is a metaphor for people, and everything I've said, it's honest, it's straight, it's awkward, it's scary, but it gets the job done and it works. And I always say to people who've got anxieties, you are not going to be awkward forever. The awkward is temporary. Fear is temporary, it's an illusion, it's not real. Awkwardness is an illusion. You have to practice the awkwardness away. Once you get confident, you'll be thankful that you went through that. And this is the difference between successful people and unsuccessful. Successful people go through the shit, they go through the pain, and then they get to the sweet spot. They get to the kingdom within, as I've said. Unsuccessful people choose to stay and don't go on the journey, and they stay unhappy. And we've all been there, we've all done that. We've all been in this place one time or another. But I was there myself, and that's how I did it. You got to be brave. And I always keep saying it, you don't have to do everything one day, you do it gradually. So if you want to get started, sorry, my throat, check out my 30-day anxiety program, and that's a 30-day transformation. This is definitely going to help you, especially if you're at the earlier stages with social anxiety where initiation is difficult. And the program is done, I was in a great mood when I did it, I'm still in a great mood now, but I'm more relaxed, I think. I was a lot younger now. It's weird because I looked more passionate in the videos back then, but I'm a lot more happier now. I think I'm older, I'm just more relaxed in myself. But it's a great program, it's positive and it's practical, and it's the method. It's the one method. It's the method that everyone knows, but people kind of trying to get away from because they're scared to feel feelings. It's teaching you how to go up to people and speak, put yourself in social situations. And the program is self-explanatory, it will explain it to you. But that's my story, that's how I did it. And that's what I told this lovely gentleman I mentored on Skype, and I've been retelling this story all the time, and I enjoy telling this story. I'm excited to tell it because it's the truth. It's what helped me to overcome it. So if you want to get the program, click the link below. My anxiety program's there, and really have a think about what I've said and really sit with yourself, and don't be afraid, be excited. It will go away if you practice it, of course it will. I'll see you guys in the next video. Enjoy the process.